A phrase attributed to Chanakya's Arthashastra reads, Kosha Mulo Dhanda. Where is this inscription found in your everyday life? Let me repeat the question. A phrase attributed to Chanakya's Arthashastra reads, Kosha Mulo Dhanda. Where is this inscription found in your everyday life? This is the audience question for today's episode of Are You Quizzing Me? Cue the music. Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I am Vineet Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Are You Quizzing Me? This is episode number 143. Aditya and I are back for another round of quizzing and questions. The question you heard prior to the musical sting was the audience question, one that I will answer at the end of today's episode. Before we get to the meat of today's quizzing, there is the small matter of the Smack social media audience question Aditya asks every episode, and which you, our loyal followers, answer on Instagram or on Reddit. So, Aditya, who answered the Smack of last episode?
Episode number 142, the previous episode had Smack 142 with it. It was on our Instagram, it was on our Reddit page. I think it was the first time that I posted it on Reddit before I posted it on Instagram. So you know what, keeping our followers and our friends of the podcast on their toes, find out where it's going to show up, because I'm unpredictable that way. In any case, the question was the same because it was the image of a bill. The entire tab of the evening, all the alcohol that was bought at a party. There were a lot of details visible. There were a few details which are blanked out. And the question was, what celebratory occasion is this historic bar tab from? The hints and the details were mostly along the lines of the place where it was and the year where it was. It was 1780 something. And the point of it was that you would be able to guess that this has to do with the American Constitution, the signing of the American Constitution. So this was a party that was thrown in honor of George Washington a couple of days before the Constitution, the American Constitution, was signed. And it had a bunch of the founding fathers there, apparently, as some anecdotes seem to suggest. So all these visionaries, these great men of history, who arguably came up with one of the most important documents, the Declaration of Independence and then the American Constitution. They were all out partying, and if you go into the amount of alcohol that was consumed, it is absolute insanity. It's like one bottle of wine per person and then like another bottle of brandy per person. So there was just alcohol poisoning was happening all around. I guess they earned it because they did put in a lot of effort, and it's an historic occasion. So that is what this bar tab was from, and the person who answered it was one of our regular answerers of Smack, our Smack enthusiast, if you will. His name is Avishkar. He has answered some of these in the past as well. So Avishkar, thank you once again for smacking us right across our trivia. That's it. Nothing after that.
Okay. So, let's get down to our regular questions. And once again, congratulations to Avishkar for being the fastest finger first. Aditya, why don't you start us off for this week's episode?
Amazing. I think I've said this in the past, that one of the perks of doing this podcast is that so often friends who perhaps don't even listen very regularly, but have heard of the podcast, have heard an episode here or there, will one day randomly out of the blue message me and be like, hey, have you heard of this great piece of trivia? And it's more often than not something very interesting, and I'm glad that it made them think of me, because if I'm associated with fun trivia, that's how I would like to be known. Put that on my gravestone. So this was a friend of mine. She reached out to me and she told me that there's a fun, and I hadn't spoken to her in a while. So I actually didn't ask her if she would want her name to be known. So let's just call her A. A reached out to me and she told me that there's a fun piece of trivia that I can perhaps use for my podcast. So Vineet, thanks to A, here's technically a listener question for you. The Russian military holds a military sport event as part of their annual International Army Games. It is inspired by the winter sport of biathlon. What event is it that happens every year that started from 2014? and has very, very often Russia shows up on the top of these. It invites a bunch of other countries, and Russia very often shows up at the top of it. Which event am I talking about that is part of the International Army Games that happen every year and is inspired by the winter sport of biathlon?
So this is an international army game.
I think a lot of people might be aware of it or would have seen it in the news. There are a lot of exercises and drills that allies hold together. This is one of those kind of things. So you can imagine a lot of Soviet allies, Russian allies show up for this. I can tell you the countries that have participated. In the very first one that was in 2014, at number 1 was Russia, number 2 was Mongolia, third place Venezuela, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Armenia, China, Serbia, Kyrgyzstan, India at number 10, Angola, Kuwait. So we have all these countries which are to some extent allies of Russia, and they have shown up in these events. Yeah.
The biathlon is, if I remember correctly, that's the one where you ski or drive and then you shoot, right? You ski and you shoot.
Very nice. That was going to be my hint in case you didn't know, but yes, you knew it. Yes, it is cross-country skiing and rifle shooting.
I'm going to try and work this out. So you mentioned this was won by Russia, then Mongolia, right?
Okay, let me clarify. That was, I think, the preliminary rounds. In the final rounds in 2014, the final competition, the top 4 teams. So now you know that it's a team event. I think it was Russia and then Armenia, then China, then Kazakhstan. Yeah, that was the standing.
Okay, because I was thinking that because you mentioned Mongolia, I thought maybe instead of skiing, they would be riding horses and shooting.
Oh, solid guess.
You mentioned the steppe countries. So I thought the central CIS countries, they have this long history of horse riding and archery.
That would be a solid guess, but no. So since 2014, and I don't see the medals table, the tally beyond 2022. So I'm not sure if it has stopped.
Ukraine, no, probably.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. Yes. Completely. Wow. That's how it has become background noise at this point. My God. Anyway, so since 2022, it hasn't really been happening in the Army Games. About 2014 to 2022, every year Russia was at number 1, gold. China has featured very often on number 2. The other countries at number 2 have been Armenia, Kazakhstan, and Belarus. At number 3, it's Serbia, China, Kazakhstan, Belarus in various permutation combinations.
One of the reasons I know the biathlon is cross-country skiing and shooting is because there's a very funny episode of Top Gear where they try to do the same thing, but instead of skiing, Jeremy Clarkson drives a car up a hill and down a hill, then goes and shoots. So, yeah. So
Interesting.
It's a pretty funny episode. Yeah. I'm looking for an army version of this, right? So I'm guessing because you're saying army version and it's a team sport, you require more than one person to do this. So are they like using okay. So is it like you have somebody carrying like a machine gun up, or you basically, instead of skiing or something, are they like running up the hill with a machine gun, getting it, assembling it, and then firing it or something like that? That seems like something that people would want to do.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but no, you're a little colder with this guess. I'll actually tell you what was your warmest guess, which wasn't technically a guess. Top Gear was pretty warm.
Okay, so Top Gear, he drove all down the hill on a rally car. This is like a jeep. This is like a guy's driving and another guy's a gunner, and then he's firing.
Warmer.
It's like, okay, so you want me to be more specific. It's like an armored personnel carrier. Like one of those big Hummer kind of things.
Warmer. You don't have to be specific. You're warm. You don't have to. I'm not looking for specificity. You're not right yet, but you're very warm.
What part am I warm at? If you can tell me, is it the Jeep part, or is it the IPC, or the machine gun part, or what am I warm at?
Both. Okay, you know what? You're very close. You almost got it. I'll say one word and you'll get it, I think. Just think a little bigger.
A little bigger? Like what, a tank?
It is a tank biathlon.
Are you kidding me? Wait. No. I'm not going to let you get away with this. How does, so what, China and Mongolia and like Kazakhstan, they airlift tanks to Russia? Or is it like Russia's like, you just come, we will give you the tanks?
I guess that's how military deals are also done. I don't know. I'm not sure of the specifics of it. I don't know who provides the tanks. Do you have to bring your own tanks? Do you have to bring your state-of-the-art tanks and in a way also reveal your very cutting-edge technology to your perhaps your competitors or even your potential enemies? I don't know what the deal behind all of this is. But here's the description. Participating tanks drive a 3-lap route of 6 to 10 kilometers. During the first lap, crews fire at tank-sized targets positioned at a distance of 1,600 meters away, or varying distances.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be 1,700, 1,800 meters also. This is done by optics. You can't use any modern fire control system. So you can't have any fancy. You just have to, I guess, eyeball it in a way or use the optical instruments only. In the second lap, different targets imitating an anti-tank mortar, an RPG squad, and an infantry unit are fired upon. These targets are around 600 to 700 meters away and must be engaged with a 7.62 millimeter coaxial machine gun, which is what I was saying. You were pretty warm with the shooting part of it also. In the third lap, the tank crews fire at targets shaped like an anti-tank gun and ATGM unit using the turret-mounted heavy machine gun at a distance of 1,200 meters. One or more misses leads to an extra penalty lap 500 meters long. On the final lap, tanks have to go through various terrain obstacles. An obstacle missed or improperly traversed adds 10 seconds to the crew's final timing. Basically, you have to minimize your timing to be the winner. And Russia has won every single round. And that's just funny to me. This is tanks competing.
It does make sense a little bit that Russia would think of tanks. This is the largest tank battle in history, involved the Russians and the Nazis. The Russians fielded something like 8,000 tanks in the Battle of Kursk. It's the largest tank battle in history. If I'm not mistaken, the second largest tank battle in history was between India and Pakistan. And that involved just a few hundred tanks.
The third largest tank battle, do you know?
I don't. This is going to be, oh God, this is something really this is going to be something really ridiculous.
This is actually dystopian dark humor because it's in Mumbai right now because nobody has water. So water tanks are being fought over all over the city. We are down to our last 10 days of water supply. So in case you are worried about an apocalypse coming, at least you can laugh at it. I think a tank biathlon also in and of itself feels like belongs in a dystopian novel. Like you could easily imagine.
No, it's very Russian. It's very Russian.
Russia belongs in a dystopian novel, just the whole fucking country.
No, because I don't remember the name of the movie itself, but many years ago there was a Russian movie which was similar to the Avenger kind of franchise, in which one of the heroes was like a half man, half bear carrying a huge Gatling machine gun.
I can visualize that, yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Like, I have watched the movie. It's not good, but like the visuals and the design are really cool. And I mean, like this really buff bear. Like the hands are all human and everything. It's just that it's hairy and the head is of a bear. Apparently, the guy can be either a full bear or a half bear. So when he's in a half bear kind of form, he's wearing like military fatigues for pants and he's bare chested, huge, like ripped. Kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger like physique and a bear as a head and carrying this huge ass Gatling gun. So
this is a bear who is manic, I guess. Oh my God, very bad joke came to mind. Vineet, what do you?
No.
What do you call?
Control.
What do you call the bear when the bear is going on this episode of Mania and then has a period where they're just like, on a complete downward spiral after that?
Bipolar bear?
My God, at this point we have lost at least 5 people in the audience. I can vouch for that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
5 is being optimistic.
Moving
I think
on.
by at least one order of magnitude.
Moving on.
Okay, great question. The next question I have is, I cannot vouch for its authenticity because the source is is a tweet basically from a particular account which I'm not going to mention, and this tweet went a little viral. I found it quite interesting, so I'm using that as a source. So don't quote me, but this is quite interesting, and hence I've taken it. It's a list question.
Let's go.
Yes. So now it's my turn to inflict some pain. It's a non-exhaustive list. And I want you to give me the connection. In Spain, it's olive oil. In the United States, it's meat. In France, it's cheese. In Ukraine, it's cigarettes. In Russia, it's alcohol. China, it's baby formula. Singapore, it's cosmetics. And in Switzerland, it's luxury chocolates.
What is this a list of?
Yes.
There are no missing items. Right? It's not like you're asking me for anything missing on the list. Okay. The very obvious answer, without trying to think too much like a trivia nerd, would be exports.
Nope.
The top exported consumer product. But no, I know you're not going to give me something that boring. The other thing I was initially going to say was leading cause of heart disease or some kind of death or something, because you said meat in US, you said olive oil, you mentioned alcohol. All of these could be potential, I don't know, contributors to heart disease.
I also said baby formula
which
for
is
China.
Why you also said cosmetics for Singapore. So I was like, okay, that can't be it.
I'll give you a few other countries. Maybe that'll help.
Maybe.
Canada, it's cheese. Egypt, it's cigarettes. India, it's spices. Indonesia, it's canned fish. Japan is also cosmetics.
Did you mention Korea?
Okay, so Korea, South Korea, it's cosmetics.
Okay.
The one that you would find as an odd one out is definitely Switzerland with luxury chocolate. India and Sri Lanka both are spices.
It doesn't seem that out of place for Switzerland. You said chocolates.
So compared to the rest of the list.
Still a consumable product, still something that Switzerland is kind of known for.
Yes. So I'll tell you, Italy, it's Parmesan cheese.
Wait, sorry, what was olive oil then? You said olive oil for, so the first one was?
Spain, for Spain.
Oh, not Italy. Oh, okay.
For both Spain and Greece, it's olive oil.
India is spices.
India and Sri Lanka, spices. Saudi Arabia, it's cigarettes.
What?
Egypt is cigarettes, yes. Colombia is coffee.
Colombia coffee makes sense, but Canada is cheese. Again, like it's not something I associate with Canada normally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just do some process of elimination. Does it have anything to do with trade and commerce?
No, not particularly.
Okay, so no imports, no exports.
Yeah, not trade per se, but it's you are in the kind of ballpark, but it's nothing to do with exports, imports, or anything like that.
Okay. I'm trying to think, if not formal trade, I was like, oh, what do tourists buy very often? But Canada, you'd buy maple syrup more than cheese, I'm sure.
Sure, for sure.
And US, I don't know if people are going there to buy meat. No, I'm completely lost. This seems like a straightforward list. Like it seems predictable in so many ways, but I have no idea.
Because there are very few clues I can give for this question. But where would you get all these things?
At a convenience store, at a grocery store.
Okay, that's your first clue. That's your first clue when it comes to what the connection is.
Ordered thing on Amazon in these countries?
No. Where do you get these? You mentioned that, right?
Okay, physical location, fine. Grocery stores, convenience stores, yeah.
Yes. So.
Again, I'm thinking of some sort of commerce-related stuff. Like, is it a bulk of so specific? Bulk of convenience store revenue comes from these items, I guess. I don't know.
No. So, okay, this is a country-wise list, right?
Yeah.
So, if you took it globally it is cheese. Okay, globally, it would, if I put all of this and then I said, okay, this is for country-wise, country-specific. If you take it globally, then it's cheese, meat, and confectionery also are rank high in that list for if you take it globally.
Most regularly purchased items, again, doesn't make sense.
Not purchased, definitely not purchased.
Oh, shoplifted.
Very good.
What? People in India shoplifting spices?
Yes. So, these are the most shoplifted items by country.
Oh, no. Well, I can imagine why it's very difficult to verify this, because successful shoplifters aren't filling out forms.
As I mentioned, the source for this is a tweet from an account called Global Statistics. And they have this huge list called most stolen grocery items by country. And there have been multiple articles written by this. A lot of people, a lot of news outlets have picked up on it and they've added some more information. So apparently the most stolen food globally is cheese. Meat and confectionery also rank quite high. Shoplifting could cost retailers around $150 billion by 2026. 90% of shoplifters cite inflation and cost of living as reasons for stealing.
Have you ever shoplifted, Vineet?
No.
Okay, I think the statute of limitations has expired, so I'm gonna on a platform that is going across the globe. I'm going to accept it. I was in 8th grade, and it was quite the rage back then to celebrate Friendship Day with friendship bands. So you had to go to school and you had to give a person a band, and that kind of cemented your friendship. It was very also a very contentious kind of occasion, because what if you gave them a band and then they didn't give you a band, because everybody has finite number of bands. So things could really go crazy over there. Anyways, so in preparation of this, a couple of friends and I went out to buy some friendship bands, and that guy was smart, I guess, economically savvy, because he had priced it up, because high demand, so why not price it up? Our budget didn't cover, and we had assumed that we were going to buy like 30-40 of these because we have so many friends, and then our budget didn't cover it. So at some point we shoplifted. I remember shoplifting at least like 4 or 5 of these friendship bands from this big jar. And I was like, I think I told uncle that I bought like 20, but I took 25 of them. So sorry, uncle, this is in Ahmedabad, some store. I'm very sorry, I took 5 of your friendship bands. If I ever meet you again, I'll pay you back.
Okay, so you mentioned that this is in 8th standard, right?
8th grade, yes.
Well, let me just inform you, Aditya, that according to the Indian legal system, there is no such thing as statute of limitations. You have just confessed to a crime, and any court, if they are willing to take cognizance of this, you can go to jail for up to 3 years.
Oh, but I was a juvenile, right? So there must be some leeway there.
No, courts can make special dispensation to treat you as an adult, to try you as an adult. That happens all the time.
What the hell? 8th grade is very much a child category.
The crime was serious.
That is
the
true.
crime was serious.
5 friendship bands is like, honestly, I think the 5 people I gave those friendship bands to, those are no longer my friends. I can't say that the rest of the 20 still are, but those 5 definitely aren't. So I paid for it with my with an emotional price, if not for the financial price.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Aditya Kashyap is officially a felon.
Grand theft friendship band, yes.
And coming up, Grand Theft Auto is releasing this year. Grand Theft Auto GTA 6 is releasing. Have you pre-ordered?
It's been releasing for the last like 10 years. Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I've given up.
No, the pre-order started today.
I will not believe it till the first customer puts up a video saying, "Hey, this is GTA 6. I'm playing it right now." Genuinely, they will delay it even further if they have to, which at some point is just, you give them leeway, because they come up with some of the best games ever. Red Dead Redemption 2 is by far my favorite game. It's just such a good game. But oh my god, you can't take this long. Which also reminds you, by the way, I think somebody posted recently that it has officially been the longest. It is officially now longer since the release of R.R. Martin's last book, then like all the previous books come with some like very annoying statistic like that. So he's just officially, the break has been so long that the rest of the books combined weren't taking that much time.
I don't expect that we will get a further book in the Song of Ice and Fire. I don't think that's going to happen because I think R.R. Martin has kind of, to use a very crude term, blown his wad with the TV series. So I think he's out of his creative space right now, and I don't think it's going to be possible for him to get back into it. And he will die before he is able to publish any further installments in the series, is what I think will happen. But you never know.
What could happen is, hopefully he lives a long, happy life. But whenever he does pass, the estate could sell the rights to somebody else, and a fresh pair of eyes could actually make it interesting. I would imagine a competent writer could make it interesting.
But yeah, competent writer. But the thing is, now nobody knows how to kill their darlings as much as George R.R. Martin can. He's quite ruthless.
That is true. He is singular in that talent. Since we did travel the world with your previous question, and it was a list, I'm going to give you both right back at you. I'm going to ask you a list question, and it's going to be something to do with travel. So, and this is going to be a quick question. So let's just quickly get this out of the way and then hand it back to you. This is a list of the world's busiest railway stations. All right. Vineet, the top 5 in this list are from the same country. Hit me with which country has the world's busiest stations, 5 of the world's busiest stations.
So the top 5 busiest railway stations are from one country.
Correct.
And you just want to know the country.
Yeah, I'm just asking you the country. City also, you can tell me if you want, but yeah, country.
This seems like a trick question because I think you want me to say India because busy railway stations.
No, I didn't expect you to say India, but sure.
Okay, no, because I was actually going to say Japan.
No, you got it right, and I totally expected you to get it right. Japan is the country with the busiest stations, and anybody who has seen the videos of just Japanese people, oh my god, piling onto the trains it's insane. I think they have designated people to kind of shove the passengers in. It's funny to watch, except for the fact that it also sounds very, very exhausting for the people who do it on a daily basis. So you are right. Want to take a guess as to which cities? The top 5? The top 3 are in the same city.
Let's take the obvious one. So I'm guessing Tokyo.
Tokyo, and if I don't know if you know Tokyo stations, but these are perhaps vaguely familiar. Shinjuku Station, Shibuya is the very famous crossing, the 4-direction crossing that you would have seen. Yeah. Station is right next to it. It's also where you'll find the picture of Hachiko. I think that's the name of the dog. The statue of Hachiko, the dog who went to the station. Yes. I think it was Shibuya station he used to go to every single day for his master, and then when his master passed away, he still went for the next 7-8 years till he passed away. There's a Richard Gere movie made on this same story. Very cute story about a very cute dog. So Shinjuku is at number 1, Shibuya is at number 2, Ikebukuro. I've been to Tokyo, but I don't remember this station, but that's apparently one of the more very populated stations. The number 4 city is Osaka, and this is the Osaka station. Number 5 is Yokohama station. I've been to Yokohama. I don't remember it being that crowded, but hey, let's believe Wikipedia on this. Now, that was the top 5 in the list. Here's where it can be fun for you, because hopefully you'll take some time to guess this. Which is the 6th busiest railway station in the world? The top 5 in Japan, Tokyo, Osaka, Yokohama. Which is the 6th busiest railway station?
Okay. If I were to guess, now I'd say it's India, knowing you.
Fantastic. You played me like a fiddle. Yes, absolutely. It is India. The question is, which station in India?
I have 3 stations in mind. I'm fairly sure it'll be one of the 3.
Go for it.
So one would be Mumbai Central.
Okay.
Another one would be Nizamuddin.
Okay.
And the third, I would guess Howrah.
You got it right. I was hoping I'll trick you a little bit. Howrah is the busiest station, more than CSMT, more than Nizamuddin, more than any of these other places. So number 6, the busiest railway station in the world outside of Japan. So the number 1 for that list, I guess. Outside of Japan, the busiest railway station in the world is Kolkata's Howrah station. I was a little surprised. I genuinely thought Delhi Bombay would be higher than Kolkata. Okay, I'm just going to continue forward. Number 7 is again Japan, again Tokyo, one of the stations there. Number 8 is India. Vineet, want to guess which station in India is number 8? So technically the 2nd busiest railway station outside of Japan in the world.
And I'm guessing it's not Nizamuddin or CSMT.
It would be too easy if it was Nizamuddin or CSMT.
Okay.
I'll accept the name of the city also, even if you don't know the name of the station.
Okay. So let's say, because you mentioned it's not them, I'm going to guess, because when you're looking at train volumes, I would say that if it's not the metro cities, then it would have to be one of those in the North India belt. So somewhere in UP, Madhya Pradesh, or Bihar, Jharkhand.
No.
Okay. So it's none of the UP belt, Bihar, Jharkhand, none of those. Okay. I need a clue. Give me a clue.
I'm going, just a clarifier, just a disclaimer, I'm going off of the Wikipedia page. It is fairly reliable, I think. But yeah, you can please go ahead and fact check me in case I'm wrong. So we discussed the busiest railway station in India and the 6th busiest in the world, and the busiest outside of Japan is Kolkata's Howrah station. The 8th one, I'm just going to tell it to you. It's fine. And I'm not going to put you through this. It is also in Kolkata. It is the Sialdah station. So there is another station in Kolkata, and that is the Sialdah station, and that is the 8th busiest. Again, after that is Japan's Tokyo station. This is the main station in, I guess you could call it one of the main stations. After that is Nagoya in Japan. After there is another India station. Guess which one is the 3rd one on the list from India. So far it's been Japan, India only. Which is the 3rd Indian station?
I'm going to stay in... No, it's not. It can't be Siliguri or any of the other ones. No, it's not. So I'm going to guess Patna.
Come on, that's an insane guess. Very nice. Very nicely done. Patna Junction. Patna Junction. After that, there's another Tokyo station. One last one. Okay, after this, I'm going to let you go. Which one is the, what have we done? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, which is the 4th busiest station in India.
And it's not any of the ones that we mentioned so far, correct?
None of the ones that we mentioned so far, no.
Okay. Because I was thinking now it's probably maybe Nizamuddin or CSMT.
Which is why I do want to fact check. So audience members, please take this with a grain of salt. Go ahead and fact check me or find me better sources. Let us know. I would love to learn. Because Nizamuddin shows up, but it's so far down the list. I'm very concerned that this list might be working with some incorrect data. How can New Delhi station be this far down the line?
I mean, CSMT then, definitely. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus.
CSMT is also not on the list. CSMT, I can't even find on the list. That is just ridiculous. The other CSMT, none of them on the list so far. This one will be a little difficult. I'll give you a hint. I said it. None of the cities that we mentioned, technically a satellite city or a satellite suburb of one of the cities we mentioned. Of one of the major metro cities of Mumbai. Of India. Oh man, I just gave it away.
No, I was actually thinking of Kalyan or something like that.
Kalyan Junction is number 4. Nicely done. Yes. Kalyan Junction, which is, I guess you'll call it a satellite suburb of Bombay. I don't think it falls in main Bombay city area limit, but yes, Kalyan Junction connected to the central line. Is it the central line? Yeah, central line of the Mumbai Suburban Railway Network. So the top 4 in India blew my mind. Firstly, Howrah, did not expect. Second, again a Kolkata station, Sialda station. Number 3, Patna Junction. And number 4, Kalyan Junction. I'm just very amused at this, yes.
The number 2 in that is what really surprised me, because I knew Howrah is pretty, one of the, I definitely one of the top 3. I was for sure aware of that. I'm very surprised that Nizamuddin's nowhere on this list.
No, it is, and New Delhi station is on the list. It is just much, much further down. Yeah, it's quite far down. So, yeah, this list might be working with maybe some incorrect data, but I was just very... Thane station is above Nizamuddin over New Delhi station. So, yeah, do with that what you... Chennai Central station is above that. Yeah, so after Kalyan is Thane, after that is Chennai, after that is New Delhi station. Oh, I am a little surprised, but because I've been to Dadar station and Churchgate and CSMT, and I'm surprised none of them show up on this.
No, Chennai, because Chennai is also one of those endpoint stations where the railway line ends.
Yeah, that could be potentially one of the reasons why. Interestingly enough, after Japan and India, you're going to take one last question then, I guess. Which is the 3rd country that shows up after Japan and India?
China.
No, surprisingly no. So China is the 4th country that shows up. Shanghai shows up on the list as the 4th unique country.
I was for sure thinking it will be China, Japan, and India in the top 3.
It is, yeah. So just to share the numbers, we are talking about like all modes of transport, passengers, millions per year, right? So far, like we started at 1 billion people 1 billion passengers per year. That was Tokyo station, and we have gone down the list. When India showed up, it was 438 million passengers per year at 547 million passengers per year at Kolkata Howrah station. So anyways, further down the list, you said China. China's Shanghai is 250 million passengers per year. The country above China is at 257.
Any other clue that you can give me?
This will be the busiest in its continent, so it's not in Asia basically.
Oh. Okay, is this like a subway system? You're including subway systems in trains?
No. This has regular trains coming as well. I'm sure they have some local train situation also, but this has regular trains coming in as well.
Regular trains? Russia?
No, not Russia.
Because the only other countries that I can think of which have, at least in my meager knowledge in this situation, because I'm not a ferroequinologist.
Ooh, fancy.
Ferroequinology is the study of trains, by the way, which I really like. Ferroequinology, iron horse. It's a very apt terminology. So I'm not a ferroequinologist, but the other countries that come to mind, obviously the UK has a heavy dependence on trains, the subway plus the city, the trains in the city. America also does have a fairly big train system, but they don't use it mostly for human transport, mostly for cargo.
Okay. Let's make this simple for you. It's the busiest in Europe.
It's the busiest in Europe. So it's not, so the UK is not included in Europe. So it'll have to be Paris.
Very nicely done. Yeah, Gare du Nord. Gare du Nord. The main railway station in Paris, which is the largest in Europe, is at 257 million passengers per year. Pretty big number. Solid number. They're 250 million. So yeah, these are the top few railway stations in the world. And do with that what you will. I don't know. I don't know how to wrap my head around the fact that Kalyan and Patna and 2 of Kolkata stations are above freaking Dadar. Like, I mean, just shout out to all my Bombay listeners. If you've just been to Dadar station in the evening, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it just, how is it more crowded than Dadar? I'll never figure. But yeah, apparently it is, according to Wikipedia at least. So that is my question. That's a list question for you, Vineet. Well done. Very well cracked. I was very impressed with the Howrah and the Patna crack. Solid stuff. Kalyan also, actually.
Patna was a total guess. Howrah, but I have, if I remember correctly, it was after seeing Yuva by Mani Ratnam that I went down a little bit of a Howrah Bridge and Kolkata rabbit hole many years ago. So I remember something about the Howrah station being one of the really big stations. So, yeah.
Well done. Well cracked. All right, your turn.
Okay, so have you watched James Bond movies?
I had so many of my movie watching binges are when I should not be watching movies. My A levels were upon me, and I was like, you know what I'll do instead? I'm going to watch all James Bond films. I just started watching. I don't think I finished all of them, but I think I was watching it in reverse chronological order, and I watched for quite a few of them, yeah.
Okay, so do you remember Casino Royale?
Oh, obviously one of the best of the lot, yeah.
Yes, okay. So, the Vesper Dry Martini, which is ordered by James Bond, consists of 3 measures of Gordon's gin, 1 measure of vodka, and half a measure of Kina Lillet. The name Lillet originates from a company established in 1872 by the brothers Paul and Raymond Lillet. What does the term Kina in the brand name denote?
So brand name is Kina Lillet.
Yes.
Sorry, is this a fictional brand or is this an actual brand? Is it only in the James Bond universe?
Oh, it's an actual brand.
Okay. Can I also clarify, was this only in, because you mentioned Casino Royale, was this featured only in Casino Royale or has it been in other movies also?
You would have probably only heard of it unless you are a raging alcoholic. I'm sorry. But apart from... no, unless you're a connoisseur of cocktails, let's put it that way. Unless you're a connoisseur of cocktails, it's unlikely that you would have heard of this.
Okay. I don't drink alcohol. I'm not very knowledgeable about spirits. So I'm going to take a wild guess here. A lot of these things are derived from, not a lot, almost everything is derived from some sort of a vegetation kind of a situation. So quinoa, I'm thinking quinoa somehow, like, because it would be a grain derived alcohol. Quinoa by any chance?
You are in the right track, that the name is denoting something, its source, but it's not quinoa.
Give me a hint.
So the name Kina comes from the indigenous name of this ingredient, and the language we're looking at is that of the Peruvian indigenous people who called it quina.
Oh man, quinoa then seems so apt because if I'm not wrong, quinoa also has origins in that part of the world, right?
Yes.
But it's not that.
Nope.
So the local language calls it Kina. In the brand itself, whatever, the alcohol is also called Kina. But there's some word in between apparently which I would know, which would be an English word, I imagine.
So no, basically Kina Lillet is the name of the brand, right? Lillet is the name of the founder. Kina is an ingredient in that particular spirit. And that name is derived from the ingredient which is called Kina in the Peruvian indigenous language. So now you just have to tell me what the ingredient is. I've given you that Kina is the name of the ingredient.
Kina, again, seems like the wrong part of the world, but Kina sounds a little bit similar to Pina or Pina, which is pineapple. So is it that by chance?
No.
Okay. Would I know this as a food product, like as a food or a drink product?
You would definitely know this under multiple contexts. We have mentioned the source of this ingredient as a question in one of our episodes.
Cocaine, cocaina, blow.
Not cocaine. Nope. So we mentioned in a previous question about the Countess of basically who was the wife of the Spanish Viceroy. And it is after her title that the source of this ingredient is named. Not the ingredient itself, the source of this ingredient is named.
It's a testament to how bad my memory is, or just how many episodes you've done at this point. It's become a recurring theme that I don't even remember this question at all. I have no recollection of this question.
No, I wouldn't be, because it's one of my questions, so it's unlikely that you would remember. Obviously, when you tend to remember the questions that you make, right?
No, then give me some other end. Give me some other context to what this ingredient is relevant in.
So the British actively use this ingredient in some of their cocktails, especially ones when they were traveling in Africa and India.
Oh, tonic. Quinine. That makes sense.
Yes.
Oh.
The Kina in Kina Lillet in the famous James Bond Martini is standing for quinine.
Quinine.
So let me just put everything into measure. James Bond, in the novel Casino Royale, orders the Vesper Martini, which is 3 measures of Gordon's, 1 measure of vodka, half a measure of Kina Lillet. Shake it very well until it's ice cold, then add a large thin slice of lemon peel. Kina Lillet, launched around 1887, was a quinine-infused white wine aperitif from Bordeaux. Kina denotes quinine, the bitter compound from the cinchona bark. The cinchona bark, the cinchon tree basically got its name from the Countess of Chincon. This is a question that we had asked many moons ago. And it was called, the quinine and the bark of the cinchona tree was called Kina by the Peruvian indigenous people. It was added to Kina Lillet as a tonic element akin to early tonic waters. This distinguished it from later versions. And by the 1970s, quinine was reduced and Kina was dropped, rebranding it as the Lillet Blanc. The recipe reflects 1950s taste, with Gordon's gin providing a kind of juniper bite, and Kina Lillet its floral quinine edge. The production of this particular brand ended in 1986, but Vesper still is like one of the most iconic cocktails from literature.
Now that you say it, I do remember this question being asked many moons ago, as you put it. Oh, cool. How do you spell it? How do you pronounce it? Quinine.
Quinine. I pronounce it quinine. I've never actually looked up the pronunciation, but it's quinine. I'm fairly sure it's quinine.
Okay, great. Moving on from that James Bond-esque question. This is actually a very James Bond-esque vibe to this question as well, because I was watching a recent episode of John Oliver, one of those things that I watch pretty regularly, and he was talking about the problem of wild hogs. I don't know if you've seen that episode yet, but if you have, then you...
No, I've not.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So this should be a fun question. So he was talking about the problem of wild hogs and how they have basically overrun large swaths of rural America, and it's a massive problem, and these are very big beasts. So they're coming up with a lot of solutions, right? Like there are solutions like, how could we potentially neuter them or poison them without harming anything else in the food cycle. There are multiple things. But in a classic American way, of course, the most popular way to do it is hunt them, right? Like just shoot them down. They have done it, gone so far as to like allow people to do it without hunting licenses and stuff. Just be like, go kill these wild dogs. And then there are companies which are offering a very extravagant experience where you can be in a helicopter and you can be shooting down hogs from the air. It's not even James Bond. Actually, this is very American. I don't think James Bond would do this. So you have to tell me, Vineet. And this is a very classic, would be an Aditya question because it is very stupid. What is the name that they have given to this particular offering? What are these services called? What is this activity called?
The activity of shooting wild hogs from the air in America has a very punny name. I'm guessing.
Exactly, yes. Let me be more specific. What are these helicopters called?
What are these helicopters called? No, because the moment you say hog, the only thing that comes to mind are like Harley Davidson bikes are called hogs.
Okay.
So in my mind, in my head, that's for some reason that's just remembered.
No, don't go down that path. I would suggest wild hogs. What other name would you know wild hogs by? That's the direction you want to think in.
Something like a boar.
More commonplace than a boar.
Pigs. Pork.
Okay, great. That's the first word. It's a 2-word answer. What are these helicopters called? Pork what?
And the Arnold Schwarzenegger is screaming in my head right now, if you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm guessing this is like a pork chopper.
Yes, it's a pork chopper.
Get to the chopper!
Oh man, I would get to the chopper if it was a pork chopper. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
This is
definitely.
pork chopper aviation. It's what they're colloquially calling it, and it's as ridiculous as American as it sounds. It's just people with these just very powerful submachine guns, machine guns shooting down wild hogs from the air, and I don't know, chanting USA in the background. I guess just classic American stuff. Pork chopper, very nice. A very quick crack. I am impressed. You have started reading me very well. You've started reading me very well.
Okay, so last question for today. I had thought of making this quite complicated and vague, but I'm just going to keep it very straightforward. This thinker wrote his first book, The Philosophy of Rabindranath Tagore, in 1918. In 1929, he delivered the prestigious Hibbert Lecture, which was later published as An Idealist View of Life. Between 1933 and 1937, he was repeatedly nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature by Hjalmar Hammarskjöld, the father of Dag Hammarskjöld, who was the first UN Secretary General. Today, however, he is best remembered by many for proposing a simple and meaningful way to celebrate his birthday. Who was this person? Who am I talking about?
Okay, firstly, Rabindranath Tagore, so must be somebody Indian. Simple way to celebrate his birthday. Top of my head, I'm discounting Gandhi. I'm going to say Nehru is also probably not the right answer. So Children's Day is out and Gandhi Jayanti is out. Interesting. What celebration or what occasion in India for somebody's birthday, apart from, of course, your religious icons?
When I came across this piece of trivia, I was really surprised because I didn't notice that he had been repeatedly nominated for the Nobel Prize between 1933 and 1937 by no less than Hjalmar Hammarskjöld. This is quite rare in those times. Like Indian literature getting recognized on a global stage was rare. So I was really surprised that for 4 or 5 years running, he was repeatedly nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature.
And
he didn't end up getting it.
And it's not Tagore. That is even more surprising.
It's not Tagore.
Whose birthday? Ambedkar Jayanti, but that's just celebrating Ambedkar's birth. There's no like other thing attached to it. Apart from the significance of the Dalit
This person's
community,
name is not linked to the birthday.
The first thing was like Children's Day, but I know it can't be Nehru. I'm trying to think of something along those lines. The only other day that I know which is celebrated after somebody's birthday then in India. Yeah, I can't think of any other example of this. This has to be then Teacher's Day. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan.
Yes, it is Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan.
He was nominated for the Nobel Prize those many years running. Wow.
Yes. That was my biggest... Like, I was planning to make this question very vague, but then I decided, no, it's more fun for you to get to the answer quickly. Okay. So, let me put it all this. This is Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, S. Radhakrishnan, who was between 1949 and 1952, India's ambassador to the Soviet Union. Between 1952 and 1962, India's first vice president. And then from 1962 to 67, he was the president of India. His first book, The Philosophy of Rabindranath Tagore, published in 1918, praised Tagore's thought as the purest expression of India's spiritual essence. In 1929, he delivered the prestigious Hibbert Lectures in London on comparative religion, published as An Idealist View of Life. Swedish statesman Hjalmar Hammarskjöld, father of UN Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld, nominated him for the Nobel Prize in Literature annually from 1933 to 1937. This was in recognition of his eloquent works like The Hindu View of Life and Eastern Religions and Western Thought. To the current generation, he is best known for humbly suggesting in 1962, his first year as India's president, that his September 5th birthday be celebrated nationally as Teacher's Day instead of personally celebrating him. Students and admirers had planned festivities. He redirected it to honor all educators, a tradition that endures annually across Indian schools, embodying his lifelong role as professor at Presidency College Madras, Oxford Spalding Professor of Eastern Religions, Vice Chancellor of Andhra University, Banaras Hindu University. He also received the Bharat Ratna in 1954 and, as I mentioned earlier, was the president between 1962 and 67. He was the People's Philosopher President. And as I mentioned, he was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature between 1933 and 1937, every year between those years. So that's what, at least 4 or 5 times.
Amazing. Wow.
And I think I mentioned that Dag Hammarskjöld was the first UN Secretary General. He was actually the second UN Secretary General, not the first.
Right. Pretty cool. Well, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, and I think apart from Children's Day, it was Teachers' Day, which was also a big deal for us back in school. So yeah, that was a cute little throwback. I appreciate it. All right, fantastic. I believe we are at the end of this episode. Let's do the audience question.
Yeah, so the audience question was, a phrase attributed to Chanakya's Arthashastra reads, Kosha Mulo Dhanda. Where is this inscription found in daily life in India today?
Arthashastra, economics, Kosho Mulo Dhanda sounds a little bit to do with money only. So the first thing would be RBI, some sort of RBI seal.
No, it's not the RBI seal.
Is it by any chance on the note? I don't think I've seen it on the note, but is it on the note?
No, it's not that. It's not that.
No note, no coin, nothing.
This is a scarier context.
Ooh, scary.
At least nobody wants to hear from these people.
Oh, okay. Income tax department.
Yes, it is the income tax department. So, Kosha Mulo Dhanda is found in Chanakya's Arthashastra, Part 8, Chapter 1. It means revenue is the backbone of administration. Literal translation is treasury is the root of punishment or administration. If you don't know, Chanakya or Kautilya, also known as Vishnugupta, was the ancient Indian statesman economist of the Mauryan Empire. And he authored the Arthashastra, which is a treatise on statecraft and economics. This verse is prominently inscribed in the logo of India's income tax department in Devanagari script. And the quotation, as I mentioned earlier, appears within Book 8, which discusses the state treasury, Kosha, one of the 7 limbs of the state. Kautilya or Chanakya emphasizes that treasury is essential before army, and there are 7 sources of revenue: crown property, state industries, taxation, trade, fees, fines, and miscellaneous. So, Kosho Mulo Dhanda is the phrase from Chanakya's Arthashastra, and you find it on the seal of the Indian Income Tax Department, which is one of the scariest departments to get a letter from.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Cool.
Okay. And Aditya, what's the smack for this week? The social media audience question.
Okay, so smack, as usual, smack number 143 will be a visual question, as is tradition. And in this case, it's a very typical historic picture, black and white, a little faded, a little, of the era of at least a century that is bygone. The question is very simple. You can see 2 figures in this picture. The question is, who is this believed to be the last picture of? Their faces aren't very clear, but because of the fact that this person is very important in history, tell me, who is this supposed to be the last picture of before they passed away? From the 20th century, a pretty important historical figure. Take a guess, see if there are any clues to be found in the picture. I believe there are a few. So this will be for all our social media followers and friends and fans of the podcast on Reddit or on Instagram. First person to answer gets a shout out in our next episode.
Great. Aditya, what's your pop culture recommendation?
Man, I don't know. This is the vibe that you're hearing right now is be prepared, because this is the exact vibe that you are signing up for if you go for this movie. It's currently in the theaters. It's the voice of Hind Rajab. Oh my God. I 90 minutes of just me. Like, I walked into the movie, I was a little late. I think I walked in like 2-3 minutes late, and and I know the story. All right, sorry. Let's start from the beginning. The voice of Hind Rajab is, I think it was Oscar nominated. Did it win an Oscar also? I'm not sure. It is based off the true story of this very young, innocent Palestinian girl in Gaza who was caught in the war between Israel and Palestine, no other word, genocide that was happening over there. And she was in a very, very traumatic situation, stuck there, and she called up this whatever the helpline would be, Red Crescent, I believe was the helpline, and they were trying to get help to her. So this is basically a dramatized, fictionalized version of the real events. And this is not a spoiler. This is just the way the movie is shot, where the scenes in the offices are of course reconstructed, recreated, but the voice of the girl is the actual voice of the girl that was in that situation. Hind Rajab, her name was. And this is 90 minutes, and I walked in a little late, and I was like, oh, okay, I know it's going to be traumatizing, it's going to be just heartbreaking. But this movie starts at such a traumatizing way, and then it just doesn't let up. I think it's important that we watch these movies. It's important to bear witness to significant events that are happening around us, and sometimes it's easy to ignore them. And stories like these make it pretty evidently obvious. Speaking of which, my other recommendation, I'm sorry, these are my recommendations today, both heartbreaking, is the movie Main Wapas Aaunga. Main Wapas Aaunga is Imtiaz Ali's latest. It's probably in theaters still, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out in the theaters. The reason I recommend it, again, for very similar reasons, that the first half was all right. It was a little too long for my liking. The second half also was okay. The overall movie is good. It isn't great. I like to recommend great films. But what was important was, I think, a mainstream Bollywood movie showing the sheer trauma of partition and the brutality of it. It's not like there'll be a lot of blood and gore happening. There is some violence, but not a lot of it. It's it's almost like it's happening off screen, and you realize that the trauma that would have happened to these people. I think a lot of Bollywood films, mainstream Bollywood films, somehow seem to not want to deal with this topic head on. Big props to Imtiaz Ali for taking it up and doing a decent job of it. Nasruddin Shah, always a reliable performer, great actor, did a great job with it. Vedang Raina, young actor, upcoming actor, reliable as well. And Diljit Dosanjh, I think that guy is a treat to watch for most parts. So yeah, sorry, of course, and Sharvari, who is the female lead, also a competent actor. So good acting performances, good film. I think it's the fact that it showed partition, the India-Pakistan partition, for truly the horror that it was, and did not seem to shy away from it, which I think a lot of Bollywood films sometimes do. Is why you should watch this film, and why you'll probably remember this film. Yeah, those are my recommendations. Sorry, it's a little bit of a downer, but hey, sometimes you gotta be real.
Yes, okay, great recommendations. I haven't watched either. I will try and catch them. My recommendation is an old movie which I watched recently, a couple of months ago. It is without a doubt one of RGV's finest works, Ram Gopal Verma, if you don't know who RGV is. And the movie is called Kaun, 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 starring Urmila Matondkar and Manoj Bajpayee. And if the final shot of that film doesn't leave you disturbed, there's something seriously wrong with you. There is, I'm not going to mention who or what, because I don't want to spoil anything. But the final shot of the movie just shows a character smiling. And you can see that actor has put everything into that one shot, the body language, the smile itself, and it's just chilling. Go watch Kaun by Ram Gopal Verma. My second recommendation is a kind of fresh take on the time loop kind of situation. It's not completely new, but they have presented it slightly differently from an Indian context, and it's called Sambhavam Adhyayam Onna. Or literally, translated, it would mean The Happening Chapter 1. And this is the first part of a multi-series, hopefully series of movies. It's a Malayalam film, and it deals with time shenanigans, time loops and that kind of shenanigans. So, Sambhavam Adhyayam Onna, it was a very, very low-budget film, but did quite well, both in the theaters and on OTT. So, go catch that. And that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you all for joining in. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and you learned something new. Please follow us, hit subscribe, give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you're listening to us on. We regularly engage with our listeners on Instagram and on Reddit at our subreddit r/areyouquizzingme, or even on our email at areyouquizzingme@gmail.com. So reach out to us. There is one thing I have to extract from Aditya, which I've been waiting to do so until we were live on recording. Aditya, did you ask your father if he knows Mandrake the Magician?
I did. And my father does know Mandrake the Magician. So, well, you are vindicated. More importantly, there was a really fun comment on Instagram. Oh my God, I think the comment section on our Instagram page is sometimes so much fun. Sometimes very, very dark and I don't know, very disturbing also when we post, especially historical content about Gandhi or about Tipu Sultan or whatever. But sometimes so much fun. There's a person who went like all out at me and was like, hey, how do you know how to Mandrake the Magician? I'm here to fight on Vinny's behalf. And you know what, sir? Thank you for calling me out. And I completely abide by your experience. Mantic the Magician is relevant, and I'm the one who didn't know. What also was a very funny comment on Instagram. I have to just give a shout out to this person. So we posted from one of our old episodes. We posted the question about which Tinkle magazine character is inspired by a Target magazine character, which was Detective Moochwala. Yeah. A lot of people love the question. A lot of people liked, shared, whatever. But there was this one person. His name is Dhananjay. Dhananjay commented saying, I love your content, very enriching. So sweet. What a great way to start. I love your content, very enriching. But, and then there's a new line. With due respect, time has come for you to trim your mustache.
Dhananjay, that's a losing battle, my friend. I am not going to be trimming my mustache.
Oh, and I loved it because it was on Detective Moochwala, Shikari Shabbu. It was just such an apt comment to make. It was so funny. Like, I try so hard every episode to make a great joke, like, you know, make people laugh. This man has won our entire Instagram page with just that one comment. With due respect, time has come for you to trim your mustache. So yeah, it's quite a happening place. Go join us on the comment section. It's fun.
So that's all for this episode. Thank you all for listening in. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and learned something new. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to us on whichever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Give us a 5-star rating and review. Definitely helps more people discover the show and enjoy it. We have a very active Instagram page as well as a subreddit, r/areyouquizzingme. You can also reach out to us at areyouquizzingme@gmail.com. That's all for this episode. We hope to see you guys next week, and I'm going to leave Aditya with nothing to say because that is my revenge for the last week's hateful episode.
I have a list of things to say, but I'll hold it. Bye-bye. Bye.